One very important type of bond interaction that occurs within water is the hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bonds are a type of non-covalent bond. They are a strong dipole-dipole bond or a charged dipole interaction that occurs between a hydrogen and some lone pair of electrons. So again, they are just a special case, special named dipole-dipole or charged dipole interaction. This is a non-covalent interaction, meaning there are no electrons that are being intimately shared in a bond, but instead there is a weaker interaction of positive and negative charge holding together these elements. Again, for the hydrogen bond, this always occurs with a hydrogen. The second member of the hydrogen bond can be some other electronegative atom. Frequently, it's oxygen or nitrogen that has a lone pair of electrons causing some negative charge that can interact with the hydrogen. So here you can see some hydrogen bonds between molecules. Hydrogen bonds do not have to occur using water, but as you'll see, water is a master of hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonds do happen to be stronger when they are bonded in a linear pattern. So you can see this here where the hydrogen and the oxygen are bonded here. This is our hydrogen bond and are bonded linearly. You have a weaker hydrogen bond when the hydrogen and oxygen are bonded in a non-linear fashion. Again, water is a master of hydrogen bonding. That's because water can serve as both the hydrogen donor, so the hydrogen acting in the hydrogen bond, or it can act as a hydrogen acceptor. It has an electronegative atom with lone pairs, that is oxygen, which can interact with other hydrogens to form a hydrogen bond. You can see here water hydrogen bonding with itself to the left, where an oxygen on one water molecule is acting as the hydrogen acceptor, and a hydrogen on the bottom water molecule is acting as a hydrogen donor. Water can actually have up to 4 hydrogen bonds per one water molecule. It's because of these hydrogen bonds and the propensity of water to form hydrogen bonds that water itself has some unique properties. It has a high boiling point. It also has a high melting point. These are unusually high for just a substance of this sort. It also has an unusually large surface tension. These all occur because of the hydrogen bonds that are causing some more structural density occurring in water itself. Hydrogen bonds are very important in biochemistry, which is why we're focusing on this particular non-covalent bond. Hydrogen bonds can, for example, occur between proteins, in amino acids. Here's an example where you see a hydroxyl group of an alcohol, hydrogen bonding with water. So alcohols and water. Here's a carbonyl group of a ketone and water. Here are some peptides. These are small chains similar to proteins, and they're being bonded together by a hydrogen bond. And even things like the complementary bases of DNA, So within the structure of DNA, they're held together by hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonds are also the reason for water's crystal structure. Water uniquely has many forms of its crystalline form. The most common form is this hexagonal pattern, hexagonal ice. But there are lots of types of ice. In fact, I suggest you look up one particular form, Ice 9, and the related book to it. Hexagonal ice, though, again, is the most common form, and it forms this organized lattice of the water molecules. You can see on the left a picture of the hexagonal structure of ice. And thus, because of this very organized structure, it has a very low entropy. Remember, high entropy, lots of chaos and disorder. Low entropy means structure and order. So here, hexagonal ice is very low entropy. Hexagonal ice contains the maximal amount of hydrogen bonds that can occur per water molecule. Remember, that is 4 hydrogen bonding interactions per 1 water molecule. This forces the water molecules into this particular equidistant arrangement of hexagonal structures. It's because of this, because it forces it into this more structured pattern to hydrogen bond, that ice actually has a lower density than liquid water. So ice is actually more spread out. The molecules are more spread out than they are in liquid water, which is not usually the case for solids, right? Solids are usually more compacted than their liquid form. But because water is forced into this equidistant structure because of the hydrogen bonding, it actually causes it to be more pulled apart and less dense. And that is why ice floats on liquid water.